What's up, gamers and geeks? Matt here with That's Fair Podcasting and Gaming Geeks Live, whichever one you watch it on, whichever YouTube channel. And in this video, I am planning on reviewing so far what I feel about the 7 Days to Die update, A Storm Brewing. I believe Storm is I don't remember what it's exactly called, but it's now 7 Days to Die 2.0. And I have some likes and dislikes about it that I'm going to go over in this short video. And any of you 7 Days to Die fans out there, you'll know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. So stay tuned. In the summer of 2024, when 7 Days to Die 1.0 dropped, it was massive. See, I'm a console player. I know, I'm a lowly little console player. But, so when the new graphics, the updated graphics, I was playing the alphas, man. Like, I think the last alpha was Alpha 18 on the Xbox One, but I was playing it on the Series X, and it was just shitty. But we kept playing it because we loved it. But when they dropped 1.0, 7 Days to Die 1.0 in the summer, oh my God, man, me and my wife, Mandy, I need to go look on my Xbox Smart Glass and see how many hours. Maybe I'll put it in the video. We've put in so much time in this. I mean, we've been putting, we're playing tonight when she gets back. I mean, you know, I'm streaming on Twitch, our own map, which, all right, shameless plug. Find me on Twitch. It's called Matt Gaming Geeks Live. Simple as that. But anyway, we've been playing, I'll do a solo run and then I'll play with her on my Twitch and then we play in her private map. But when it dropped last year in the summertime, it was amazing. Graphics were amazing. The upgraded, you start off with your primitive bow, wooden bow, then you start with an iron crossbow, then a compound bow, then your compound crossbow. So I love silent weapons. I'm always a stealth guy. I love Skyrim. But then, you had your different assault rifles. You started with the pipe rifle, pipe everything. Even that prick Trader Rec gives it to you. But then, then you start with an AK, then you start with tactical, then an M60. If I'm leaving one out, I'm sorry. But I do know that you also start with a pipe pistol, your standard, like almost like a 45 or it's like a 6-hour type pistol. But let's talk about the update 2.0. I believe it's A Storm's Brewing. Yeah, because anyway, doesn't matter. I'm mixed on it, man. Let's start with the Desert Spitters. Great add-on. However, there's too fucking many of them. I mean, look, I don't have a complaint about 7 Days to Die 2.0. I'm going to play the shit out of it tonight. I'm going to Twitch here in about 30 minutes. On my, again, hate to do it. Matt Gaming Geeks Live. That's my Twitch. But I'm going to do it in about a half hour. But anyway, not the point. The Desert Spitters, I like them, and I like the I call them Frost Giants because they kind of remind me from Dungeons and Dragons where they throw shit. In the winter, you have your rock throwers. The rock throwers aren't as bad, but the Desert Spitters, I think there's too many. I would like to see the Fun Pimps tone it down, make them about as rare as like the whites, like the old school naked runners that you had in the first version of 7 Days to Die. Make them a little more rare, not as rare as Screamers, but you're almost overwhelmed by spitters in the desert. It's easiest to just kill them with a melee weapon, the bees that get spit at you. But, I think you have, a 10% infection. But when you're encountering 2 or 3 of those, because I don't play on the lowest level of difficulty, so when you're encountering 2 or 3 of those at one time, man, it gets overwhelming. And the next thing you know, these bees are hitting you, and, your infection's up to like 11 or 12%. And you only have 1 honey on you. Now, granted, Fun Pimps did up the amount of honeys that you find, I think, to combat the amount of spitters there are in the desert. But the desert's my favorite biome, so I think that many spitters is a little overwhelming. And I'm not going down back in difficulty because it's just, the higher the difficulty, I think the more it brings your focus to the game, and I kind of like that. So, the first one's the Desert Spitters. I don't know. I mean, I did look guilty. I bought 2 out of the 3 cosmetic DLC outfits. And I like how, you have a cosmetics option now. Great job, by the way, Fun Pimps. But, I didn't like I think it's the Marauder, whatever the heaviest one is, or the Gladiator. I don't remember. I just have the the desert one where you're wearing shorts, and then I have the one in the middle. I forgot what it's called, but you're a little heavier armor, but not like, you don't look like the Man in the Iron Mask, the third option. I'm drawing a blank, but it doesn't matter. I did buy 2 of the 3 cosmetics because it's worth it, especially when you're playing with someone and you get to look at them and stuff. But also in 7 Days to Die 2.0. And now let's discuss some of the visual upgrades, like the water, the food in the water. The water's real blue. I like the murky water, even though it kind of looks like Pepsi with no ice. I like the visual upgrades. I like the food upgrades. I don't like opening the can and seeing that slop that you're eating, because none of it looks enticing. Even when I'm actually hungry, waiting on dinner and I'm playing, I wouldn't eat that shit. It looks terrible, but it probably would. I do like a lot of the new POIs. There's been a lot of POIs, and I've made bases out of some of them in both maps. I really, I like the upgrades. Like, there's one that's like a construction site. There's even one, guys, tell me if you guys have seen the homage to the vault from Lost. Like, if you've ever watched the series Lost about the people stranded on the island, you remember when they had the vault and they had to go press the buttons and whatnot? There seems to be like an homage of, like, it's in the Greenlands. It's a little hill, little rocky hill, but you see a vault door, and then you go in there. I think you're going to see what I'm seeing. It looks just like the vault from Lost. So I'd like your guys' feedback though. It wasn't the biggest update. The next thing I want to talk about, more of a complaint, the storms. I get it. It's called the Storms Brewing. I get it. But my God, man, to me, and you know what? It's funny because right now it's Friday, July 25th. Fun Pimps are doing a thing where they're going to be talking about the feedback that they've taken from this new update and what they're going to do to change things. So by the time you see this video, the changes may have already been announced in their video. So look for that. The Fun Pimps today are supposed to be doing something in a few hours. Go check them out. They're going to talk about it. But the storms, I know it's a storm brewing. I get it. But you can even chop that shit down to 50%. And that just means you're only going to see storms 50% of the time. It's the duration that keeps you stuck inside these places for long. Let's say you've ransacked a place, and all of a sudden you hear the sirens going off. You're stuck in there, man. If you go out there, you have 59 seconds to find a different place. But if you're already encumbered and you want to run to another building, well, the best thing to do during the storm is explore and loot. Well, if you're in a building you've already looted, you're literally stuck there waiting there for minutes. Almost sometimes they can run up to 10 minutes almost. It feels like 10 real life minutes, not in-game minutes. In-game minutes are a lot longer, but because I think they're hourly. But what I'm saying is you guys get what I'm saying. The storms last, I feel like, too long. And it's a good way to keep people in the game, but no one wants to sit there and do absolutely nothing waiting for a storm. And they're bad. They're real bad. I do absolutely love see, this is about 85% pro to 15% con total in the new update. What I love is the biome badges. That is a good way to keep people invested to get into the other biome. You have to make these other biome smoothies. You have to make a burnt land smoothie, a winter smoothie. You have to make the wasteland smoothie, which, you have to put acid in that. Who the hell's drinking that? You have to make a oasis smoothie for the desert. That is a great concept, and what that does is that keeps people going. That's an A+ to me as far as what the Fun Pimps did for 7 Days to Die 2.0. I'm sincerely looking forward to the next updates. I'm going to watch tonight some of the changes they're going to make towards the feedback of this latest update. But they listen to their fans. They're a lot like Undead Labs to me, which is my favorite developing team. They listen to their fans, man. They listen to gamers, and they adjust to what gamers want. They know what's important, and that's gamers. So kudos to Fun Pimps. Like I said, I'm heavily invested again after this update. It wasn't enough to keep me from playing. I deal with the spitters. I'm in stealth mode. I make sure I find that book in, I believe, Night Stalker, where you're never encumbered at night, so you don't lose, and you never use stamina while crouched, stealth sneaking. But you're using sprint to sneak, even though you're in crouch mode. I use those in the desert. I don't feel like dealing with the bees. But you know what? Overall, if I had to grade it, I would give it a B+, because the storms keep it from an A+. They lost an entire grade. I don't like the storms. You can still call it a storm's brewing, but you can mean something else that's on the horizon, a threat, not a storm. you know, like, oh God, there's a storm ahead, and you can mean it for something than actual weather. But it's not enough to deter me. Fun Pimps, you did a slamming badass job. Thank you so much for the update. Looking forward to the next one. I believe the last one's called The Road Ahead. And then there's one in between, I think, where they're going to give us bandits. We're going to actually encounter other AI humans in this map that we have to combat. And hopefully, Fun Pimps, if you ever listen to this, which I'm not big enough that you will, but you never know. If you ever listen to this, more cosmetics, because dumbasses like me are going to keep buying them, because I'm all about vanity. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much my grade. I give the upgrade of Storms Brewing 2.0 a B+ overall. It won my heart, and I will continue to play this masterpiece of a game by the Fun Pimps. But guys, that's all I had in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely appreciate it. Please, again, if you don't mind, subscribe to That's Fair Podcasting or Gaming Geeks Live. Click that like button to send us out into that algorithm and get us more feeds. And if you just watched the video, I sincerely mean when I say that's what means the most. So thank you so much. But to all you gamers out there, forever, all love, and I'm outro.